How do I do it all? The Brezza gives me the power.
Opening weekend of IPL 2025 behind us. We've seen 6 out of the 10 teams. Now it's time for Delhi Capitals and Lucknow Super Giants, 2 teams that have really hit the reset button, have swapped a few players in and around, and will look to start a new cycle on a winning note in the first game that will be played at Visakhapatnam in this year's tournament. This is built up to that on Maruti Suzuki Arena presents ESPN Cricket for Timeout in the fine company of Matthew Hayden and Piyush Chawla, who are ready to go after the doubleheader yesterday. And Ambati Rayudu is a smiling man at the Chepauk, saw one of his former teams beat the other, has taken the flight back now. Rayudu, are you feeling fresh and ready to go? No, he's not.
Last is it all.
What I like about Rayudu is he won't give an expected, media friendly.
Well, he gave you nothing
answer.
there.
Yeah.
Is he fresh? Was it satisfying that his old team got beaten? I'd like to know
yesterday,
that.
when I asked you the same question, when you took a flight from Kolkata, you went, I'm ready to go. And you were just completely done. You were on your 9th cup of coffee.
I might just get confused that Rishabh Pant is the captain of Delhi.
I'm pretty sure JL's confused at the auction as well. Who's he playing today?
Man, you know who the captain of Lucknow is when, he has a bad day and someone gives him a go on the field. No, I'm not going to do that. That is very naughty from me. I don't want to do that. Lucknow fans, it's a new season for you. And we thought there's a little bit of weather at Visakhapatnam, but thankfully that doesn't mean a delayed toss. There are some big questions, though, to be answered on Lucknow. There's a lot of injuries going around in this team. But if you just set up the chat, what's at stake for these 2 teams? Piyush, the impression that most of the IPL has around Delhi Capitals, let's start with them, is they've just never got it right. They've underachieved. Is there reason to believe from the auction that they had at least that this could be different?
Well, this year if you see their team, it looked quite balanced. They have got right mix of the players and they have got most of the players which they wanted, and they have retained 2 of their main spinners, and then they used RTM for McGurk, who was been brilliant for them last year in the IPL, but post that he hasn't done anything special. But still, you have to show that trust, and Tristan Stubb is there. So they've got quite a few players which they wanted, and then quite new players, which is like Faf du Plessis brings in a lot of experience, and then Mitchell Starc, who again brings a lot of experience. So I think they've got the right mix now, but depends how they start in the first game.
Akshar Patel as captain.
I think he's a very smart operator. You can see it in his own game. He's a thinking cricketer and he's a very calm person. And also many people don't know he's quite experienced. He's been playing for India for a very long time. He's been in and around the team and also in and around the IPL. So I think he'll be a very, very good captain. And we have seen that in the hurdle as well, in the visuals, that he's quite aloof, let people do their thing. And he's someone in the mold of maybe not MS Dhoni, but someone like Shreyas Iyer.
Personality-wise, you're saying?
Yeah, personality-wise. Someone like Shreyas Iyer who is calm, composed. So he might actually have a good impact.
Do you sense this kind of player as captain, will it be easier for him to deal with pressure that comes from being with a franchise like Delhi, where everybody knows, we can't be in the IPL this long and not have success? If it was a high-profile, marquee, superstar sort of name, and Akshar is one of terrific player, but you know what I mean. He may have felt it like my first game also is going to be a judgment on me. Do you sense it's a different pressure for Akshar?
No, I don't think so. I think it might be the other way around. He might be feeling that it's a great opportunity for him to get success for Delhi, and even the team management has changed, who have put faith in him. So he might be trying to say that, okay, my time has started, maybe Delhi's time has started, with my captaincy. I think he's one guy who is always positive in his mindset, and I feel he will treat it as a great opportunity.
Toss result from Visakhapatnam is that Akshar has won his first toss as DC captain, and Delhi Capitals will bowl first. So that's a good start, at least, Haydos, for Akshar. And we saw in the visuals just before we came on air, Akshar had gone into change, presumably, for the toss, and Faf du Plessis was leading the huddle. Sometimes the importance of having senior international player who can just help you get into the job, ease into the job?
Yeah, he's a bull.
He's a bull?
He's a bull.
Now, extend on the definition of that. I know what you mean.
Well, a bull is someone that, obviously commands respect, that takes it slow and easy and doesn't ever seem rushed. I think with Faf at the helm, from a 2IC point of view, assuming that he does play, we'll get that up to you soon, but it just means you got a surety. I mean, no matter which franchise he went to, and he's been across now multiple franchises, this would be his third in 3 years. And so every time he's gone to that franchise, he's added value, and it'll be no different this year as well. Obviously extremely fit, got that experience. And when you think about sort of leading into the combinations today as well with Jake Fraser-McGurk, I'm sure having someone batting with him, if he's opening, you know, that's got that mindset, that experience, that calmness, it'll really help Jake out as well, who's been really struggling since the last IPL. He just can't get a run.
I can confirm that Faf, Fraser-McGurk, Stubbs and Stark are going to be the 4 overseas, but we'll come to that more detailed chat in just a few minutes once we have the entire lineup. It's easier to predict Delhi's than Lucknow's because there are lots of injuries. And that is a challenge for Rishabh Pant, the new captain, and the record bid at the last auction. And I'm trying to think of what's at stake for Pant here, because there's a lot that's riding on Rishabh Pant from a new franchise point of view, price tag point of view, and his own performance in the IPL, Rayudu.
I think it'll be very interesting to see where he'll be batting as a captain, because his strike rate against spin is not great, and he loves playing fast bowling, and he plays well when there are fielders inside the ring, and he's not that great a batsman in terms of batsmanship. He doesn't score boundaries as much. He tries to hit sixers a lot. So I feel him playing in the power play will set the tone for Delhi. LSG.
It's good to get that one out of the way.
Very forgivable mistake. Don't worry.
So it's a great challenge for him and also a point to prove. So
I want to think about and ask both of you as well, since you know what you know of Pant, what he'll be like as a captain in a new franchise, given the difficulties that we know of that he had at Delhi last couple of years.
Well, as he mentioned, that there will be an opportunity for him to prove a lot of things here, because he has become all of a sudden a second choice wicketkeeper in the Indian team squad as well. At one point of time, we were thinking and we were looking at him as a leader for the team, for the Indian team. So now this is a good opportunity when he comes to this team, new franchise, record bid, and then now how he takes the team forward from here, because there are a lot of injury concern. You have to set your combination because your main fast bowlers, almost all 4 are injured at the moment. So for him personally, I think he needs to make sure that he go out there and bat with that responsibility and take the game deeper rather than just going for those flamboyant shots.
Do you sense that's going to be on his mind, the fact that he is not an India first choice T20 international player right now?
Well, it automatically plays in your mind. Even if you say no matter how many times that no, it doesn't make a difference, but it does play an effect in your mind.
What you've heard of the character that Pant is, what I've picked up is that he's very much his own man. At times he even challenged Ricky Ponting. He's quite, clear about his decisions and his selections. And it came at a franchise which was not enjoying success. Now, is that likely to change in a new setup?
no, I don't think so, because I think he is someone who loves to have his own way. He is someone who thinks that captain has to have his way in a side and he has to have the last word. So I don't see it being any different.
Okay.
So I just hope that the team management is in sync with his ideology and there are no clashes there, because it's a new franchisee which has been in the IPL for just a short time and they also want to taste success. So it's an interesting phase for him as well as the franchise.
Let's talk about the clashes then, because there are 2 people there. There's Justin Langer, who you know well. There's Zair Khan, who you know well.
Yeah, well, I was just thinking, that with JL, he's quite a malleable personality and character. He'll bring a lot of disciplinary thinking to it, but that'll allow a great freedom from someone like Rishabh Pant as well. So he won't be a dominating character. Ricky's a little bit more in your face and a bit more kind of this is the way, and probably less political, if you like.
Yeah.
JL will be stretched if you compromise on values and that ethos we've seen for Australia, haven't we? He rebuilt that side after Sandpaper Gate, took them to the highest level, and then you sort of start to feel the conflicts with the team around his intensity and his uncompromising disciplinary thinking.
So I'm sorry, but clarify that for me, because we know that he didn't have the sweetest exit from the Australian setup. So I thought that would have been a clash with the captain there. And is he a different kind of character now, or does?
No, I don't think so. I think the group was just moving in a slightly different direction to what he was. So for mine, he'll set up this franchise as he did last year in his first year. Didn't have the great success, but working with a character like KL as he previously did, I'm pretty sure that he'll actually have a really good relationship in talking about something that Rishabh Pant will want. He won't just go, look, I don't think and believe in that. He'll actually instill a great belief into Rishabh, and he'll certainly have a very fluid conversation with anyone. And I think that's the perception, if you're hearing me, fans, I think that's the perception that I'd like to share, because he definitely does have, after his exit, the impression that he was kind of a non-negotiable type character that alienated or polarised people, and that's not Justin Langer one bit.
All right. You know Zair Khan well, who's also moved after a long innings with MI to LSG, where we also have the impression that this is an owner that also requires, you have to manage upwards and downwards. We know that Mr. Goenka is somebody who's, been in the news for a number of reasons. And how do you sense, what kind of role do you sense Zach will play, knowing how he has been in a management setup?
Well, he's one of the best guy you'll ever come across, and you need these kind of people to manage things, because at the end of the day, it comes about man management. You can't teach cricket at this stage. You just need to manage things, and he's somebody who's really good at it. It's not only with the senior players, even with the junior players who comes into the picture just from the domestic cricket, he's always there to help them. So I think he's the right person to be out there to make sure that things are really well balanced between the management and the captain.
Is he going to bowl? Is he in good position to bowl? Because the amount of injuries they have right now.
Well, I think he must have started. He must have started practicing, because he got an injury update like few days back only, like 10 odd days back. So that would be good enough for him to get ready and to bowl.
Oh gosh! All right, this is a challenge for Zair Khan and Justin Langer. How would he? You know him well, Edos. How would he be as a potential buffer between ownership that likes to be involved and character like Pant and superstar Indian player that he is? How do you sense he's going to be as a character there, Justin Langer?
Well, Jay is quite a philosophical character.
Oh, is he?
So he'll have conversations on many different levels. He's a very versatile personality and character as well. So no one in his company will feel overwhelmed. He'll take on board what you have to say. He'll take a call. He's not afraid to take a call, but he'll certainly, as I said before, he's quite a malleable personality. He'll get everyone's intel, and then he'll make the best decision he can.
I know
Ricky's slightly different, like that. I could see how there could be a conflict between Ricky and Rishabh.
Yes, personalities.
Not to the extent that they're going to argue necessarily, but it's just you could see that it's quite jolting sort of personality in so far.
I can see them arguing if I close my
Yeah,
eyes.
right.
Perfectly fine. That's my definition of it. You've not felt owner pressure at CSK. You speak very highly of their management. But what can owner pressure do to players and performance?
I think, it can actually trouble players sometimes, because as a player, you have your own expectations while going to a game. And when you have added pressure and expectations, and you know that, you have to perform in a sport where there's 100 different variables on a given day, it's not easy. I mean, as an individual, your clarity of thought and your selection of your ball or your shots can be affected by outside noise and pressure, and they're better off not having that.
Okay, well...
You can't be a pressure cooker. A pressure cooker, it'll get to a certain amount of heat, and then once it gets beyond that, it starts to sizzle. It can't get to that stage. It's got to be handled in-house. And I'm sure they would have learned a lot from that last season, because just the level of speculation and scrutiny is phenomenal.
Come on, Rayudu, go for it.
No, I'm sure he knows a good stew takes time on low heat. And a lot of good ingredients.
Dal tadka.
Dal tadka. I know you said that's your favorite Indian dish.
I love it. And it starts with a pressure cooker, if you've got less time. And obviously good dal, and then the tadka can come later.
Oh, I love it, Edos. You're quite a philosophical man yourself, aren't you?
I try to be.
Like JL, right. Okay, I can't wait to see Edos being a coach in an IPL side. But I don't want that, because I'll miss you here.
I miss you too, brother.
Right. On that, on that artificially loving note, let's have a look at the teams. Lucknow Super Giants first up. Now, this is a really interesting day for Lucknow because they've had so many injury concerns. Mayank Yadav, Mohsin Khan, who's been out of the tournament, and Shardul Thakur replaces him, and he's in straight away. There's no Akashdeep, there's no Avesh Khan. That's the entire bowling you tried to put together at the auction table. Mitch Marsh, Hayden Markram, David Miller as 3 overseas, and Nicholas Pooran. We'll move that flight just up a little bit. But as we look at the rest of that team, it's a completely untested bowling lineup as far as IPL experience goes. Prince Yadav, Digvesh Singh, Shahbaz Ahmed, Ravi Bishnoi. And given that they are batting first, they'll probably add another bowler from that Impact Subs bench. But Piyush, looking at that bowling.
Well, looking at that bowling, they have to,
You're struggling to find the word, aren't you?
They have to get
Just
1
say
million
what
runs.
Say what you want.
320's got to be there.
Oh, well, it's not going to be that easy for them because...
Come on, Piyush, do better than that. Come on, give me a Hindi. Say it in Hindi if you need to.
Nah, it's okay.
I think the only positive is there are a lot of unknowns in that bowling attack.
Yeah.
They might get away.
Maybe.
Opportunity.
Yeah,
Mystery.
Well, we have seen the name of Prince Yadav there, and Prince Yadav, I know, like he played for UP in the league, and he's not a proper seamer. He's just like a change bowler who can give you few overs here and there, maybe 1 or 2. And then looking at the other seaming options, so you have Shardul Thakur. With his experience, they would like to see him, leading that attack at the moment. And the other spinners, they'll be dependent on Ravi Bishnoi because they have trusted him, they have retained him, so he has to come good and come well.
Who's their death bowling there?
Shardul?
Shardul is the only
Which
option.
is tricky
And
because
maybe
Shardul's had...
an impact player.
Yeah, let's just have a look at that team one more time. Maybe it'll help us understand. Now, M. Siddharth is someone who they've brought back, who's very handy with the new ball too, if he bowls there. There's Akash Singh, who's a left-arm swing bowler, played a little bit for CSK and last year at Sunrisers. Rajvardhan Hangarkekar's there. He's not allowed of IPL game time, but Rayudu, look at bowling plans from that. And clearly the death bowling responsibilities could be by players that we haven't seen bowl there before.
Yeah, I think Hangarkekar, Shardul, I think these are the best options you have.
Digvesh
in the
Singh
depth.
also
and also
might-
Bishnoi might, bowl little deep because he
So
has the experience.
it has to be players we don't know. Because Digvesh Singh and...
Yeah, and Ravi Bishnoi, as I said, he's somebody who can bowl well in the power play. But now in this bowling attack, he might have to take the responsibility to bowl 1 odd over in the last 5 because there's not much depth in the bowling. And if you want to come and you want to come to the party, so you have to take that responsibility when the team has shown so much of confidence in you.
I mean, I don't know what the news on Shamar Joseph is, but I would think in the absence of so many Indian first choice seamers, they've not even gone for their sole overseas fast bowling option. They don't have anyone else. It's only Shamar
It's
Joseph.
got to be shell shock territory from game one. In all seriousness, you've gone for experienced Indian batting, overseas batting lineup, sorry, and then you're in a situation where you've got one overseas bowler, and he's not there.
Yeah, that is little surprising to me because when you're batting first as well, so you can always replace one overseas player once the batting is done. So I think they are showing a lot of faith in Indian bowlers. That's what they've done when they were building up the team as well, taking those 4 fast bowlers who are unfortunately not there at the moment. So that is a bit of a surprise element.
Yeah, I just did a quick math. I know Mohsin's out for the whole tournament, but he was one of 2 retained players that are missing today. The other one being Mayank Yadav. They really banked on Mayank Yadav. I know he's a terrific talent, but injuries and his track record, that's 33 crore in bowling resources unfit or unavailable today. So they only have Shamar as a bowler. Let's talk about the batting. Maybe that will give them all the cushion and protection they need. Hero's interesting here. There is Mitch Marsh. There is Hayden Markram. But would you be tempted to have a different opening combination?
I think if Mitch Marsh is playing, which he is, I think he's got to open. That's my take on it.
I think yesterday in the preview you did say Pooran is a tempting choice as opener. We were talking about even Pant potentially opening.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's more just to break up so many left-handers right in the middle order, just to break that up. But
and also with Pant, I think he's better off playing the new ball because he's a good test batsman.
So you're saying open with Pant?
Yeah, open with Pant.
Push Markram to 3 perhaps, or Marsh
Yes.
to 3, one of the two.
No, Markram to 3
Markram to
and Marsh opening with Pant.
Yeah.
And Puran in the middle. So I think that gives
See,
them a lot of strength.
Pooran's strike rate against spin's phenomenal, right?
Yeah.
Like that,
And
that's
the other
where
way
his
around,
gift is.
Pant's
Pant's-
strike rate against spin isn't necessarily that great.
And he's a brilliant player against a swinging ball. He's a very good test batsman. He loves hitting gaps, and especially when the field is up. We have
Yeah.
seen that in Test cricket. So I think it will suit him. The first 6 overs will suit Rishabh.
Is
Pant.
it
See, I
fair?
guess, sorry, mate.
Please, hit
I
us.
think where I was coming from yesterday, and after a good night's sleep,
Say no
I might
more.
add, where I was coming from is that in my head, if I was coaching them, I would say, Nicholas Pooran, you're our best player. You're a freak talent, and I'd like you to bat where you need to bat for our team, because I think he's that good. I mean, he's versatile, obviously, but are you getting the most out of him in the late middle order?
Right.
And so that's what I was thinking with no sleep on.
On
board.
that point, what I picked up from the LSG camp, and we brought this up in our IPL build-up content, was they don't want to move Pooran from 3. They sense that should be his role. It just ticks all the boxes. And therefore, the question was, should Pant bat 4 or should Pant open? And they were more inclined towards Pant opening. We'll find out in about 10 minutes if that's true. The team sheet, I can tell you, has Pant listed at the top, if that is any indication. You can write
Average is
anything in
32,
team
a
sheets.
strike rate 160, so it's pretty good.
Yeah.
Is it fair to say we haven't, even in spite of the unfortunate accident and whatnot, Pant missing, we haven't seen the best of Pant, the batter in the IPL for some time now, isn't it, Rayudu?
Especially against spin. I mean, in the middle overs, I told you, he's going for either a 6 option or a single. That in-between game which he needs to play against spin, which he had before his accident. I don't know, maybe his legs haven't been strong enough yet in the last IPL, or maybe he has improved now. But I feel he has the game, it's just his mindset, whether to hit that square cut for a 4 or sweep for a 4. He's not doing that, he's just trying to take the bigger options.
But if he is to open, can he play a role like Travis Head or like Abhishek Sharma?
Well, if he opens, then that will be his role, because he's somebody who can take on to the bowling and give that flying start to the team, so that that builds the foundation for the batters to follow. And we see Lucknow has gone batting heavy. They've got 4 overseas, and all 4 of them can play those big shots. David Miller, Pooran, and then Mitch Marsh as well. So there is Markram, who is somebody who can actually play the role of an anchor to hold one end up, so that other batters can revolve around him. So
He might be playing as an all-rounder also today. Markram.
Vizag, you don't want to play as an all-rounder, that to an off-spinner, to be honest, because that doesn't really suit. And looking at the team right now, the combination, when we were talking about their bowling, they must be thinking, okay, in Vizag, any bowler will play if he'll go for runs. So that's why we go batting heavy and make sure we put enough runs on the board.
Yeah, it's a small ground, isn't it, Vizag? You're part of the world, Rayudu, your home state and whatnot, but it's a batter's paradise, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I mean, the wicket sometimes can be a little tricky.
We've had some rain. I don't know if that changes things.
Yeah, because it's quite a black soil. It can get sticky sometimes.
Right.
That's the only thing. Other than that, it's a proper batting paradise. And it's a small.
It was
ground. It's a
Sunrisers,
very
wasn't it? They got that huge total there.
There are quite a few teams that have had big totals
Yeah,
there.
big
Chris
totals
Gayle has
there.
smashed a big 100 there, I think, in the past once. There are a lot of teams. Sunrisers, yes, you're right.
Yeah.
I think a game in Visakhapatnam.
It's
Right.
kind of like it seems like in the numbers it's a bit skewed though, because of those big numbers. Then I can't remember who they were playing that day, but they it must have been Delhi, right?
Oh, you can't remember what you said
I
yesterday.
mean, they only think they got 160 or something like that in reply, so it wasn't really fair. It sort of skews the numbers. I don't think it's that great a wicket.
No, it's not. It's actually, I mean, it can be a good wicket, but it also can be a tricky wicket.
Well, that covers it.
That depends on the weather, because sometimes it's very, very humid, it gets sticky. And also because of the rain.
We'll find out what that pitch is like at Visakhapatnam, right? But let's look at the Delhi team. Or actually the designated home team. They like to play a couple of games at Vizag. And as we look at it, it looks like Fraser-McGurk and Faf will open. Now, no KL Rahul. That's news we can confirm now. It was speculated that he may be missing. We covered that as well in the build-up to this game on ESPN Cricinfo. But no KL Rahul for now. Let's hope he returns soon. It's taken a bit of the spice out of this contest, because I'd have loved to see KL against Lucknow in the first game.
It's such a balanced team though.
Yeah.
Like when you look at that, Tristan Stubbs down the bottom there, big 6-hitter. And you've got an experience, unlike Lucknow, you've got a really experienced bowling line up there as well. World-class Mitchell Starc. We saw the impact that he made in the last IPL. Probably a little inconsistent until the big games arrived.
Let's just look at a few things here. One that they've named 4 overseas, that's covered. No T. Natarajan, so we'll wonder if he's fully fit yet or not. He did have to undergo surgery in the last few months. But in Mohit Sharma and Mukesh Kumar, they've got some pretty reliable, experienced IPL bowlers. Kuldeep Yadav and Akshar Patel, of course, and Mitch Starc. Big player for them this season. The one concern was whether they have a lot of lower middle order hitters batting at 4, 5, 6 onwards. That might change with Karun Nair and Ashutosh Sharma both on the impact bench. But thoughts on that team, Piyush?
Well, if you look at that team, the Sameer Rizvi is there, who just played under 23 for UP, and where he got, in one-day tournament, he got 3 double hundred. And then Vipraj Nigam, we saw.
He's leggy, isn't he?
Another leggy.
Yeah.
In UPPL, I saw him. He was bowling really well. He picked up some 20-plus wicket. And he's a proper leg spinner. So they've got 3 spinners. They've got a number of batters who can bowl as well, like Akshar Patel is there. So in middle order, they're pretty sorted because Sameer Rizvi, who's somebody who plays spinners really well, and looking at the bowling attack of Lucknow, as we discuss about it, he can be quite lethal against them.
Yeah, I've still to hear you call anyone a proper leg spinner, so I rate Vipraj Nigam very highly now.
Yeah, Vipraj Nigam is actually a good spinner. Like, as I say, he's got a proper action. He has got a good leg spin going away and a beautiful wrong one as well. So he's a really good complete package, but depends how he cope up here because he's very new in the first class setup, hardly played some 3-4 games. So at that big stage with pressure, small ground, but a lot of rains, might be a
There's
little,
already 2 more spinners there.
a lot of, might be a little sticky, so he might get some purchase of the wicket.
I think he's going to be the best leg spinner ever. Piyush, you never rated one so far. Yeah.
Yeah, generally when you look at teams that have been successful in the IPL,
Yes, right.
your 5, 6 and 7 have been real match winners.
Right.
And that is where I feel teams like Delhi or erstwhile Punjab used to miss the trick. Even today when you see Tristan Stubbs is still young, he's still mastering his craft, but he's someone who can hurt you. But Akshar Patel at 5 and then Ashutosh maybe at 7. But do you think these guys will be able to consistently win you games under pressure? Is the question between Delhi and the title.
The thing that Delhi went with their auction strategy was they felt like they had perhaps 3 of international cricket's best batters, overseas batters, over the next 10 years. That was Fraser-McGurk, Stubbs and Harry Brook. Now, Brook has pulled out, but they showed a lot of faith in wanting to bring back Fraser-McGurk and retaining Stubbs before the last auction. Stubbs had a terrific IPL 2024, but the point Rayudu makes is there's even more importance, you think, now in the top order. Jake Fraser-McGurk made an impact as a player who came in even midway through last season, picked up at the RTM. Now, what is Fraser-McGurk? What are the stakes for him? Matt Roller will tell us more.
Jake Fraser-McGurk was a revelation for Delhi Capitals in IPL 2024. It was his first season in the league, and yet he came in and scored at a strike rate of 234 across the season. At Delhi Capitals' home ground, the Feroz Shah Kotla, that went up to 274. Barely believable numbers. And my favourite stat of the lot about JFM's debut season in the IPL, he faced 141 balls in total, and 60 of them went to the boundary all over it. It was a pretty phenomenal start to an IPL career. But since then, as you can see on screen now, his numbers haven't been as good. He went to MLC and had a pretty quiet time. He's not done a lot for Australia in international cricket. He did score a half-century against England in the T20 International, but not much else. And he had a really quiet big bash for Melbourne Renegades, with the stats you can see there slightly boosted by a 95 in his final game when their season was pretty much done. The good news for JFM coming back to the IPL is that both of Delhi's home grounds, Vizag, where they're playing their first game, and Delhi itself, where they play their last 5 group games, both of them generally been batting paradise in IPL. Generally not a lot of movement on offer for fast bowlers, which has been kryptonite for Fraser-McGurk. And the question, I suppose, for the guys in the studio is which Jake Fraser-McGurk they think we're going to see in IPL 2025. Will it be the version who lit the tournament up last year with Delhi, or will it be the one who struggled a little bit more in the times in between?
Matt Roller, with his hand warmers still intact, tells us whether Jake Fraser-McGurk is going to hit the IPL running. Given Matthew Hayden the form, he's been capped for Australia, but he's not quite had that sort of breathtaking, blazing impact that he had in the IPL last year.
Yeah, what's really concerned me about Jake is that he tends to just get out the one way. You know, bowlers are now setting him up outside off stump. and he's playing very similar shots to be dismissed in very similar ways. You know, so to me, there hasn't been a lot of growth. You know, sides have and do the research and work an individual out. The only thing I'll say is that here it's a little different because the ball isn't bouncing. In Australia, you know, we saw in the Big Bash League wickets that do tend to bounce a lot. And so those rearing deliveries outside where you're trying to really get your hands through the ball, you know, aren't really a possibility. He'd be a lot more comfortable here, and he also feel a lot more, I guess, grounded by the fact that his performances, as you saw there statistically, you know, let him own a category of play in T20 cricket.
Okay, just very quickly, since we're running short of time, will we see Fraser-McGurk start the IPL with a bang today, given everything we've discussed about Lucknow's bowling, yes or no?
Yes.
Rayudu?
I think so. Too.
Okay, so there you have it, just for today. But we have to have a power play conversation the other way because Lucknow are batting first. So let's do that in our Maruti Suzuki Arena presents Power Play Conversations. Let's get into it now. We'll hear in just a second if it is indeed Rishabh Pant who's walked out to open the batting. But as far as Delhi's power play plans go with the ball, having won the toss bowling first, Mitchell Starc, Hayden, you see him having long-term impact because he did struggle last year up until the playoff games.
Well, he's certainly a fresh horse, isn't he? He hasn't played now for quite an extended period of time, so he'll have a lot of energy. He'll want to bring something to the IPL as well. He struck me as a personality that kind of went reluctantly to the IPL, but he got his teeth into it for KKR last year, and you know, I just feel like he has got, obviously, as a world-class bowler, an opportunity today to really sort of say, listen, I'm arrived at the IPL.
Power play plans, Rayudu. Markram and Marsh, we can confirm, are opening for Delhi. There goes our left-hander or Rishabh Pant. We wanted to see it, it's not happening.
No, I mean, it would have been ideal for Rishabh to open because being a left-hander, he would have enjoyed these conditions in Vizag. He has done well there in the past as well. So, no, it's a miss, but definitely maybe as a captain, number 3, to control the innings, to control the tempo of the innings will be, you know, something that is playing on his mind. And also ball's not swinging right now.
Well, evidence of the first couple of balls that it's not swinging. Carry's not so bad. Piyush Chawla?
Well, looking at the bowling, the way he's bowling, it's not swinging that much. So I feel LSG would be looking at somewhere around 45, 50 odd runs.
From the 20 overs? Or?
No, for 6 over. Power play we are talking about. So
Yes.
at a loss of maybe 1 wicket, they just want to start well.
Yeah, might be a sedated start to just get it into the game. But what do you sense is going to be a first inning score? I can tell you Cricinfo's forecaster says 194.
So whatever Cricinfo says, we have to listen.
No, you don't.
No, yesterday we heard about that. It was 24 runs short. So I feel somewhere around 185.
Okay, Rayudu?
I think 170.
170 and 185. Matthew Hayden?
Let's split the difference. Let's go, 180.
Hey, Ross, you've been very... You're not being outrageous with your...
No, I just don't back this wicket, I've got to say. It's one of those wickets that the numbers, as I said, are skewed. And to me, it's just always is a bit tricky. So, and you've got a world-class bowling attack here as well, remember?
Yep. All right, 180, 170,
185.
and 185. That's where the panel thinks the game will stand. Thank you very much, Matthew Hayden, Ambati, Rayudu, and Piyush Chawla. More from these fine men at the end of the Lucknow Super Giants innings. Keep an eye out for when Rishabh Pant walks out, how he goes in his first game as captain, and we'll have all the analysis for you on Maruti Suzuki Arena Presents ESPN Cricinfo Timeout. But I can tell you before I leave you that we've seen the first six. Everyone wants to revise their prediction?
It would have been a 2 in Melbourne.
Would have been caught in Melbourne.
Maybe.
All right. And now, on that note, we will see you at the end of the Lucknow innings.
How do I do it all? The Brezza gives me the power.